Warning, you are about to enter the BGP suite. No thongs, no boy shorts, no thigh highs, no commandos are permissible. BGP, big girl panties only. So pull up to woman up. And no, please don't leave with your panties in a bunch.
Are back with DS1 Ross from Sheep Stay Sleep TV and Mr. Ronan Martin from the Book of Ronan. And of course, we are BGP, aka Big Girl Panties. So we have a very interesting topic for you today. The question is, do you, ladies, require your man to have a curfew? And I'm going straight to you, Adrian.
Oh my goodness. Not really a curfew. I think there's a respectable time that should just be automatic. Like, you better not come in here when the sun is coming up. I think reasonably it would be like we're in a relationship, right?
Yes, you're in a relationship.
My husband, my man.
You can live with him.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess it would go for living with a man or being married to a man, yes.
Mm-hmm. So if we live together and we have established that we're in a committed relationship, I think that an appropriate time would be no later than 2 a.m. It could be midnight, but I don't want to sound like Cinderella. But I think it should come to you just out of respect. You should know, okay, this is an appropriate time. Like if you're hanging out with your guys, maybe it's his bachelor party, or you going to happy hour. I don't even think happy hour would last that long after work. But I would say between midnight and 2, that's it. Okay. And that's not really a curfew. I think that should just be expected.
Miss Nisha?
Curfew. Shoot. No, I it's not a requirement to have a curfew, but out of respect for one another, I do think that we should be able to come home at a decent time or give each other the heads up as to why we may not be able to come in at a decent time. But like be home by, 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock or whatever. No, but yeah, it should be like a decent time, but sometimes things happen. So it depends on the situation, but 9 times out of 10, I'm not giving you a curfew. It'd just be expected that we, respect each other by coming home at a decent time, or if not, giving each other a phone call as to what time we think we may, make it home.
So we just heard Adrian say that a decent time is 12 or 2. What would you consider a decent time, Ms. Williams?
Yeah, is that extreme?
No. Oh,
because it's all about communication.
Right, agreed.
So she said,
and that's what I'm saying. It depends, because I've been involved with someone who had to come home at different times because of the industry that they work in. So they may not come home at midnight because they may be filming and don't get home till 5 because filming has taken that long to finish what they were doing before they were able to get home. So it depends. It depends on the industry that my spouse would be in.
You still didn't answer the question.
I know, because I can't give you an
whole lot of
answer.
right
Like if he's a teacher, then I probably would expect him to be home before 10 or 12. But 9 times out of 10, if he's in a different industry where they work different hours, I can't expect him to be like, I need you to be home by 9. That just seems weird to me. Plus, we're adults, so communication go a long way. So that's my answer.
For me, my answer is no. I would not require my man to have a curfew. Some people would say that it's a respectable type of situation, but I live with him. He's going to come home eventually because if he's not there, I get to do whatever the hell I want to do. You know what I'm saying? And we say that men are supposed to be protectors. So they are supposed to be out in the world seeing what's going on that may harm their woman or their children. My thing is this. After midnight, I need to hear from you because I love you and I'm going to be worried about you. Just call me up and be like, hey, babe, I'll be home later. I don't require him to have a curfew. However, if he gone 48 hours,
yeah, that's different.
That's disrespect. That's disrespect.
Yeah.
Yes, we're going to have an issue. So, for the men, would you be with a woman, or do you think, let's go there first. Do you think a woman should require you to have a specific time to come home? I'm going to start with you, Mr. Ronan.
I'm going to say no. And that's why I say that, because most don't consider like it's not just you that they're protecting. When it comes to conversation, sometimes you might be talking to your boy, which I've done that before, talking him through a situation, which requires some time, attention, things like that nature. Or maybe if I'm in my passion, if you know where I'm at a certain time, I'll send you a text message, I'll even a FaceTime, let you know I'm out here in the lab doing this. And when I'm come back, I come back. But I'm not a fan of micromanagement personally. But when it comes to all that extra stuff, if I'm out, is as a purpose, not just wandering around. Because I got to protect not just myself, but the home and the plan that we're working on. So that's what I say.
I'm going to say men are supposed to establish their own boundaries.
Yeah.
So I'm going to come in the house when I think it's suitable. And if you got a problem with that, then you need to be with a guy who's timid. You need to be with a guy. You need to be with a guy who's wanting to babysit you. You know, because that's what the curfew shit is about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's you pandering to someone's insecurity.
Yep.
Well, after a certain time, only fast food and legs are open. So if my man ain't in the house, so is that his problem or yours?
Yeah.
Why do parents set curfews on their children? Because you know what go on in the street after a certain time.
Right.
Once the street lights come on, the goons is coming out.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's why you give your children a curfew. You don't give your man a curfew. You're a grown man.
Right.
If you feel like he needs to have a curfew, then you need to check yourself.
And
But
your
how are you
vetting
going to
process.
protect me if you out with the goons?
Because, I'll piggyback off you, bro. Part of leading or leadership is prevention. If I show you how to do certain things, while I'm gone, you're supposed to do them.
Yeah.
So don't call me because you hear somebody banging on the back door. Go grab the Glock, like I showed you.
Yeah.
Don't call me, oh, it's an emergency.
Yeah.
But I taught you what to do in emergencies. Do it.
Yeah.
Now I got to come home and do it because you don't want to do it. You see? So any woman that's worth her salt won't put no... Because once you put your man on a time schedule, you know what else you putting on a time schedule? How he make money. And how much he can make.
Yeah.
Because you want him home.
Yeah.
You want him home. What if he at the cigar bar with $1 million investors
Fact.
and they don't come home, they don't leave the cigar bar till 5 in the morning?
Yeah.
You gonna call him and blow him up and fuck up that bread?
Yeah.
And then whose fault is that? That's his, right?
Because now you broke.
Now you
Because
broke.
you want him at home.
Yeah.
At 12.
You see what I'm saying? I mean, well, let's be honest. Let's be honest. And be honest, Adrian. You saying between 12 and 2 because what?
I just feel like that's a
You don't want him to be in no club.
That could be because
She over there singing.
And see, you as long as you haven't given your woman a reason to have any mistrust or any crazy overthinking thoughts in her head, then it's all good. But if that has been put out there before, then you're gonna be kind of guarded. You're gonna protect yourself. Like, I know this motherfucker's not out here doing this. I might have to pull up.
Well,
So hold on, Ronnie. So because of your baggage from previous
I know.
relationships, you're
Yes.
gonna make this man. Hold on.
Yeah.
You're gonna make this man
Pay.
pay for something that happened previous to him even being in your life. He didn't do that yet.
True.
He said, "I'm gonna be here. I see you when I see you."
Mm-hmm.
So
And
now, hold on.
Okay.
Now you like, well, Jimmy
Did this.
did this, and he came home at 2:00. So I'm gonna set the parameter for 1:00. Jeffrey did this, so I might have to. And he's starting to look like a Jeffrey to me, or act like Jeffrey, or something that
Pick up
triggers
those
you.
things. Right.
So 10:00, and like he said, if you are where you're supposed to be while he's out in the streets, he's already created the protective environment.
Yes.
So now he gone, and you go outside to the store and get popped upside the head because you were insubordinate.
Yeah.
And you decided to do what you want to do because the last thing that he knew of his woman is that she was inside the house. You see what I'm saying? Okay.
And this is
what
what
protection is, because that's where protection begins.
right.
So if you know how your man is and you know how he protect, then you should never oppose that, because guess what can happen? You can get hurt, or you can do something stupid and make him hurt somebody for no reason.
Yeah.
Now you done lost your man.
Yep.
Now guess what? He still ain't coming home. Still ain't got a curfew.
Right.
Ever.
Still ain't got a curfew. So putting restraints on a man, a woman will never win.
Yeah.
You'll never win because you don't have a man. And you don't want him to be a man because you're afraid that if he show you exactly what you want to see, you got to do some work.
Yeah, this is why I said the whole thing about protection is prevention.
Exactly.
Like, as a military man, most don't know if they're asleep, I'm usually up doing fire watch. Walking around the house, making sure, looking at cameras and whatnot. While you're resting, the man possibly is working. And doing what he needs to do. He could be making that extra power move, talking to the right people, and those conversations tend to go on at a certain time. But for him to cut that time off to nurture your insecurities, that puts you both at risk. And you're going to be viewed as a breach of security. Financially, socially, interpersonally. So if you can't trust me and my leadership, what is the point of even having or being at the house anyway?
My meat is soft.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, soft meat.
ED.
See?
Yeah.
ED.
So it all works in tandem. Like, look, I'm still looking out for you because we know what's out there. Now, have you vetting that man? Is he prone to go to those certain vices, or he maneuvers around those things? I know what I got at home. I know what I got to protect and support, because he's looking at the long term. Now, if you're looking at short term, Sam, that's an indictment on you,
Right.
because you have settled for substandard protection.
That's why you need him all around.
Yeah.
It's like, why you want your man to be a hall monitor?
Right.
Yeah, bathroom. You got a pass? Yeah, go ahead. Why do you? That's sexy.
No.
Is it like? Go ahead.
And they do say familiarity breeds contempt. So if I have to stop everything and everything's an emergency when it isn't, what happens when he doesn't pick up the phone and something does happen?
What happens when you drive him to do the things that you're insecure about because you keep on nagging him? See, a lot of women think that, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, oh, he's not going to be out in the streets every day, and I'm about to get out here too. Did you sign up to be with a man to be out in the streets and act single, or did you sign up with a man to be his homemaker, his, comfort, his peace. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I get it.
Because what if he comes home at the time you want him to come home and he angry, like he said, now my dick is limp.
Yeah.
I wasn't finished doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And we want a man, but then we want to treat him like we his mother.
Yeah.
We not his mother. So, do you gentlemen require your woman to have a curfew?
Yeah, bro.
I'm gonna be honest. Depending on who she with.
Right.
Okay.
Now, if you with those battle axe,
Hell no.
you got a curfew.
The battle axe of your homegirls?
Yeah. If
Yeah.
you with those, you hang out with the city girl type of girls and all. Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Nasty hoes.
You do because I'm only letting you go out because those your friends. I don't want to take you, I don't want to take you from what you used to. Those are your friends. Be their friend. You can go out and hang out with them, but don't forget, you got a house to tend to. Because, see, they don't.
Mm-hmm.
They tend into weaves and Cash App. You got kids. You have a house. You got to clean. You got to cook. You have responsibility. So a lot of times women forget that when they get around certain type of women. It's like, fuck him, girl. We out tonight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then you know
I'll
what?
suffer the
Okay, when you get out, yeah.
And guess what the consequences be? No
Limp
dick.
dick.
No dick.
And now,
Floppies.
you really running the streets all the time, and now you're really upset. Now you done made your life harder than what it already was. Trying to get around your man. If you need to get around your man, you don't need your man.
Facts.
If you're going to keep trying to manipulate the situation and bet, bye.
Yeah.
Bye. See you later.
Plus, if you're going to serve a curfew to your man, you basically serve him a eviction notice.
Basically.
He has time to clear out.
Basically.
So instead of him being comfortable coming home, all of a sudden you're basically grouping the next chick to take your spot. So most don't think, and that's like, look, let my man take care of business. Maybe he needs to clear his head. Maybe he needs to take care of something for the house. Maybe he has a surprise because you worked so hard to reward your
never
efforts.
think like that.
But most think with these insecure type of things,
I
like,
never
look,
think like that.
think about the expression a man has when he surprises a woman with a surprise he's been working on for a hot minute.
Exactly.
Like, she's been solid. I know it's out there. And he'll give you a curfew to show you how real your girlfriends really are when you maneuver in a better position than they are. Because they're going to shame you. You don't need to be out there, but they know you have that protection. And you go home to a solid direction.
Would you say it's very dangerous for a woman when she is trying to create this curfew that she is actually giving him an ultimatum?
Yes. Yes.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, it's not just an ultimatum, but because of the dangers out there, you're creating a pattern. And when they know that person's pattern, when that man leaves or when he comes home, they know when to strike.
And also, would that be saying that you are trying to take the leadership position in the relationship by giving him a curfew?
Yeah. You can't nurture him while you neuter him. That's why
My
the curfew is bad.
question will be, would you fuck your son?
No,
Okay, so why does your man have a curfew?
he shouldn't have one. I don't want to date a man that I have to be his mama.
Well, that a lot of women say that
But
I mean,
until he shows you that he's a little flirty. Now you got to pull your clamps out. Clank, clank. Excuse me, I'm your woman.
Yeah, that meme you got.
You see, you know what I'm saying?
Who was that smiling in your face?
It's easier said than done. It's easier said than done because when you dealing with a man, you can't tame him.
Facts.
That's what women look to do.
Right.
I'm giving you all of me. Why you leaving? You can't tame me.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah, I said what I said. You don't like it? Leave. I'm going to stand on what I say. You know why? Because I'm going to stand on what I say if I tell a man in his face. I'm going to stand on it. So why would I backpedal for my woman?
And what's the most important thing y'all look for in a man? Consistency.
Thank you.
Good or bad or indifferent. You say for better or for worse. It's not selective outrage. It's acceptable.
Facts.
Period.
You're right.
So if you know your man is a certain way, you better acquiesce. Or you're going to have the problem. Not him, because he's not with that. I am who I am. That's it.
How would you receive a guy that said, I can only be a man if you treat me a certain way?
Right. Think about that. Think about that. Now you're looking at him like, oh, I can beat him up.
Yeah.
And no woman.
I like those kinds.
And no.
See the problem?
See? And let's keep it 100.
See the problem?
And let's keep it 100. No woman worth her salt wants a diet lesbian relationship.
No. No.
That's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a dyke.
Yeah.
I don't want to beat them up. I just want to. Yeah.
You
But-
just want to take your you want to take your aggressions out on them.
But see, it
No,
takes,
because I've had to fight dudes before. So I just
Right.
want to be able to be with one that if he do try to act like he want to fight, I can beat his ass.
But why don't?
See.
But wouldn't you?
I know it don't make sense. but
Shouldn't
that's
you
just
want to
my
be with a guy?
trauma.
Shouldn't you want to be with a guy that's willing to fight another man first?
Yes,
Then you?
absolutely. Yes.
Because then that will show you that he's not afraid of other men.
Right.
You see? So, you know, that's kind of crazy, because if you do want to be able to beat your man up, I see why you telling him to come in the house.
Yeah.
Because you want to beat on him.
yeah.
No, it's not. It's really not like that. It's just that, you know how nowadays for me, I have to size up a person because I don't want to get in a situation where there's a physical altercation and I lose. I don't want to lose anymore. So I just want to make sure that in the event it comes up, and I'm licensed to carry, so if I have to shoot him, I can shoot him. But I just want to make sure that I'm not going to get in a situation where I'm hurt or injured or suffer no more.
We're all gonna get hurt.
Yeah, we're gonna get hurt.
Relationships are full of hurt.
Ups and downs.
Period.
We're human. We all make mistakes.
Once you become vulnerable, once you slide that wall down, you are saying, you are going to be the person that hurts me.
Yeah.
You are going to be the person that gets on my nerves. You're going to be the I hate this thing. That's the relationship. No relationship is flowers and roses.
All the time.
all the
Exactly.
time.
True.
What?
Because, hold on.
Good.
Because if an individual is going to do what the hell they want to do. Period.
That's true.
So all these insecurities that you're bringing out, who are you hurting? You hurting
Myself.
yourself because he wants to stay out. The bottom line is, do you, baby? Because we all are individuals. He got his own hopes, dreams, desires, hobbies, things that he needs to do to feel like a man.
Exactly.
And who am I, as supposed to be his woman, to deny him and take those things away from him? I want you to come home because this is where you want to be. Now, I might not give you a curfew, but I might put something on you that'll make you come home earlier tomorrow. And then that means if that works, then I'm going to continue to do those things. And I'm going to add on some more where he be hanging out with his home, where he be like, I got to go home.
Exactly. That's
You
what
know
I
what I'm
do.
saying? I want to come home. Y'all niggas ain't talking about shit. I got something at home. She didn't send me a butt naked text. I'm out of here. You know? We don't want to be little naggers and little spoiled brats, because this is my man.
Like he said, you don't want to be a micromanager. Because
That's
I
true.
hate micromanagers.
Ooh, me too.
So I definitely wouldn't want to put a man in that position. Plus, even if you do tell him he has to be home between 12 and 2, if he wants to cheat, he could still go out there and do it and still get back home between 12 and 2.
Exactly.
So
He can
that's
do it in
not
the
gonna-
daytime, in the
so
morning,
that's
and
not gonna-
yeah.
That's not
So
going to
you
stop
want the
him.
beautiful
I
life.
just think there's just a level of respect. There's just a time that I just I'm sticking with the 12 to 2 because I think, what is he? What really could? Well, like you said,
going
you did
on.
describe there could be some money.
Legs is open at that time. That's what's in
Right.
your mind. You not thinking he out at a business
Working.
meeting. You thinking he
fucking-
in between somebody's legs because you want him in between yours.
Yes.
But if he's working, if he knows that I'm working through my traumas and my issues, then he'll be understanding and at least do it like.
No,
you
see, that's
said.
the
Send
problem.
you-
No,
That's not his responsibility.
That's-
I didn't say
Right.
it's his responsibility. I'm saying that
Right.
he knows my background. He knows my history. He knows
So
some of
he's
the things
supposed to
that I'm.
give you a little leeway.
Just a little, just like say, baby, don't trip. Look, and I don't say this is an ongoing thing. This is I'm working through. It's a
No,
process.
we're gonna talk in general.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk in general here. Let's use me. I'm fucked up. I got some issues. It's not this man's
I get
responsibility.
it.
Hold on, let me just finish. We're talking in general. It's not this man's responsibility to damage himself by taking on my issue and sugarcoating me and pussyfooting around me because I got
tiptoeing.
certain issues or a lot of baggage that I'm dumping on him. His mantra is heal before you build.
Yeah.
You need to heal yourself
Exactly. I totally
before
get it.
you get with a man. And even maybe if he does something that does trigger you, you need to speak on that
Right.
now.
Right.
Right.
Hey, baby, you didn't come home till 3 o'clock. What happened? He'll tell you.
Mm-hmm.
And then the reason why I'm asking you because, speak your truth. I had a man that did this at 1:35, and he gonna say,
And it
"Well,
just
I'm
made
not
me
that
go,
man,"
yeah, exactly.
And you gotta drop it.
and you
Yeah.
gotta drop it.
Yeah.
And the chances of losing a good man behind those kind of insecurities and crazy rules and regulations is really high.
Right.
You know,
Especially
because they
nowadays.
don't.
Because they're not healing. They're not doing the work
Are they
to
still
get
like,
over
oh my
it.
gosh, she's got all these good
And
qualities,
men-
she's a good person, but this part I can't deal with this shit. You know.
Men are getting fed up too.
Yes.
Right.
Just like women are tired of dealing with broke dudes.
Right.
We're tired of dealing with little girls.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You ain't nothing but a hot ass little girl. You're a little girl mentally, emotionally, but you're sexual.
Right.
That's all you are. You a hot ass little girl. That's what you are. And black men are getting tired of that because black men have been babysitting black women.
Yeah.
Just like you got to maybe help him to get a job and all of that stuff. Black men have been helping black women, basically pacifying black women for too long. And black men are getting tired of it. Why you think Lil Baby left Lil Jada? Because she's a headache. You ain't about nothing. All you want to do is wear tights and take pictures.
Fake ass.
You're a waste.
Yeah.
You're useless.
Yeah.
Outside of our children,
Yeah.
you're useless. That's not Baby's opinion. That's a fact.
It's a fact.
That's a fact. That's why he left her and took his sons. You ain't shit. And a lot of women think that, well, if you a real masculine man, you'll take on my
Trauma.
insecurities.
Yeah.
And you know what that does to real masculine men? That breaks them down spiritually.
Yes.
Because then it becomes, who is this person?
Yeah.
This woman is bringing wrath in my life. Who is this person? Why am I with you?
Yeah.
You're not serving any purpose. You're not.
This is why I would say, like, never allow your comfort zone to become your coffin.
Bingo.
And if you're always comfortable in this insecurity, all this nagging, all this strife, and figuring like being opinionated is a value, then he's going to show you how much that value is worth.
Bingo.
So if he's out there looking for the best interest of not just himself, but the woman he's with, he's not going to do anything to slip that up as best as possible. He knows there's dangers out there. There's always temptations. Always being challenged. But to sit there and always nurturing you and giving you a little binky and, you know, he got to burp you and all this other stuff. It's like, why am I dealing with a little girl with this? It's like, you're a grown-ass woman. We out, let you have, you know, time with your friends because that's you. But then again, it's like, we're not trying to micromanage you either, but we're trying to protect you the best way possible. Telling you how to conduct yourself out there while you're with these chicken heads. Because when something goes down, they're not going to have your back all the time.
Right.
And you're going to call me.
Right.
And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have a list of questions.
Yeah.
I'm not the kind of guy you could call, oh, come down here right now.
Nope.
Oh my God.
Nope.
Don't do that to me.
Nope.
Because I'm going to shatter your dreams.
Yeah.
I don't care how big and strong you think I am. If you call me talking about you got a problem, I'm going to call you back and say, what's the problem? I'm not getting in my car and driving nowhere.
Good.
What's the problem? What happened? Well, what's the problem? What happened? Well, you don't want to let... Click. You ain't got no problem.
Yeah.
You ain't got no problem. Your problem is you. Grow the hell up. Stop thinking that a grown man, because he like you, he got to accept you acting like a child.
Right.
Because then he going to treat you like one. Then you don't want to be treated like a child. Then stop acting like a child.
You gonna
Stop
have to pick a
requiring,
door.
right? Stop requiring him to do shit that your daddy was supposed to do.
And it's the abuse
Stop.
of the authority that's been given to you.
Bingo.
If we talking about protection, we're going to ask questions first, because once we get out there and get in that car, it's wartime.
Right.
Straight up.
We're coming to solve the problem. Everything be damned. And when you abuse that, now we're looking at you as the problem.
Bingo.
Because if we're willing to put our lives alive to protect who we love, what does it say that you throw them out there just because someone hurt your feelings or someone like gave you a side eye or something like that?
Because he said you was ugly.
Or he stole your bag of chips.
Stole your baggage, things like that. It's like, it's got to make sense, because when we come out there, we already know we come with the plan and we're going to handle that. Now, there's things called de-escalation of force, but it's something real serious right there. We have to like, look, once we out there are going to be no questions asked.
No turning back.
And once your man gets out there that handles the situation, it's out of your control.
Yes.
So if he goes too far to the left and he didn't, because he thought one way and something happens,
It's your fault.
it's your fault.
Yep.
Do we actually, as women, think about the psychological damage of giving a man a curfew, or not a curfew? Do we think about the psychological damages that may affect our men when we say, take me as I am? You know, work with me with these triggers. Because what if he fails? What happens to this man's psyche? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my question now is, do we as women desire for our men to give us a curfew?
Do we desire for them to give us a curfew?
Desire?
Take your time.
No, but I guess for me, he wouldn't have to. Out of respect, I would, make sure that I came home at a decent time. And if I didn't, like I said at the beginning of the this broadcast, that more than likely there was something that had to happen for me not to be able to get home at a decent time. Other than that, I would come home at a decent time. He wouldn't have to. But I don't like he mentioned earlier, I don't like micromanagers, but I don't put myself in a position to be micromanaged. So, like I said, I'm going to respect your boundaries just like I would want my boundaries to be respected. So that's my answer.
Adrian.
I agree. Same here. I don't think a curfew would be necessary because I would, out of respect, come home at a decent time. There would be no reason for him to question that. I am such a I don't like drama. I don't like mess. I don't like arguments. I don't like confrontation. I don't.
Okay.
You don't believe me?
Come on.
I'm just here.
I don't like that. So I'm going to avoid it at all costs. So on my end, I'm going to keep my side of the street clean. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. So that means coming home at a decent hour, making
What's
sure.
a decent hour for you?
After work.
Okay.
After work. I don't hang out no more. I mean, I don't do the whole clubbing and none of that. I'm so over that. But so I'm always I come home at a decent time. If I'm not if I do something with friends, it's well before midnight that I'm home. So I think because I like stuff reciprocated. If I want to show him this is what I do, and I not necessarily want him to do exactly what I do, but stay in those perimeters. Like, you see that I'm coming home at a decent time. Look, your dinner is ready. All I got to do is pull it out the refrigerator and heat it up. These are the things that I want him to see that I'm doing. So maybe you could do that too. But if there is an incident where he needs to stay out much longer than what I would deem respectable, all I expect, I think it just goes back to communication. Just give me a call. Even you don't have to call me. Just text me. Hey, I know normally I would be here by now, but I'm okay, cool. For a couple of reasons, safety reasons. Sure. What if something went down? What if something happened?
And that's why I said after 12, I need to know.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm
However,
saying.
let me ask you this, and this is a general question.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want men to be men, or do we want men to be the man that we think a man should be? Our version of what a man should be.
I want a man to be his best version of himself. I want him to be a man. Not my version of what it looks like, but what it looks like to him. That's what I would want.
And then you make a decision if that
works for me.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Okay. So the question was, would I want my man to establish a curfew for me? Absolutely. He is my man. He is my protector. I would think different if he didn't say, I need you home at a specific time on it. If you read the message to the black man, it says that our women are out in the streets late at night by themselves. That's the most vulnerable times that something can happen to them. If you did not give me a curfew, I would think that you really didn't care about me. Mm-hmm. Point blank, period.
Protection.
Now, sometimes I'd be like, what's up? You know, we as women, we always gonna buck, or you know. But yeah, I want my man to give me a curfew.
Yeah.
I want to know that he thinks about my safety, and my safety is the parameters that he built for us.
You got to think about presentation too. Like, what does it look like if he's constantly having to go to the club and drag your ass back to the car? Some like that, think it's cute. But again, that lets the wolves know there's a problem in the house.
Right. Right.
Again, we talking about they don't protect, but prevention requires you to listen.
Right.
Might not sound good, but then you hear about your girlfriends that got into that shootout.
Right.
It could have been you.
True.
Let's see, I guess that falls into that younger category because I'm at an age where I'm too old to have my ass at a club. So, like I said, I would more than likely be home at a decent time unless it's work related. But other than that, I'm not trying to be out at all times of the night. But I get it, and I definitely agree that we do need to be in positions, especially when we're in a relationship with men, where we acquiesce to what it is that they're looking for in a mate. And if that boundary is set to where he does need you home at a decent time, there should be no issue with you abiding by that for safety reasons and for, as we say, protection. So I can agree with that.
And to take the stress off of that man, that he knows where his woman is. I'm going to give you a perfect example. And this is just a male friend of mine. I used to go out walking at 10 o'clock at night.
Oh.
I felt safe outside walking, and I think I'm crazy enough that nobody would try to kidnap my crazy ass, because if they did, they'd probably dump me back out the car. He was like, Moni, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And I was like, why? He said, you can't do that. And the next day, I wanted to go out and walk, but I remembered he said, you can't do that. And I stopped doing that. I like to go to Walmart at midnight. I'm nocturnal. Go to Walmart at midnight, do my shopping, you know, get things. And then somebody said, but you shouldn't do that. So sometimes we don't see or have the foresight that our men have. No, you can't do that.
Oh, here's a question for the ladies. Like, what should underlying issues have a curfew, and how long?
Underlying issues, your
Like, there's an
triggers,
issue, triggers, you're sitting there and like stewing on something. He don't know, but you're waiting to blow up on some nonsense, which could breach the security of the home. How long? And if it's needed.
I think oftentimes we want our men to be mind readers,
And we ain't.
and they're not. And like you said earlier in another broadcast, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. He don't know. You know, he think he out here doing a hell of a job. But you holding some resentment, you know. You seeking some revenge. He got one more time. And he don't know nothing. So I think communication is very important at the moment that what you think is an incident occurs. There should not be a lingering of animosity or hate or you hurt my feelings. That corrodes the relationship. Because he thinking he getting an A. And you could reduce his ass to a D-. So I say nip it in the bud. We expect adults to be adults. Be adults. Sometimes we don't want to say this shit because in the back of our mind, we know we saying some bullshit in the first place.
Ass shit. Yes, exactly. And that's what I think. If it's some petty stuff, sometimes it's on the tip of your tongue to just blurt it out and speak on it when it has the potential to disrupt the peace in the house. You have to really take some time. And even for me, I have to sometimes just play stuff back in my head. Is it really that serious? Is it really worth us having this discussion about, or is this me tripping and overthinking? So then once you do that.
And you be tripping and overthinking.
Yeah. most of the time, because, in my head, it's crazy. But that's true. So what I do then is I think about, okay, does this have the potential to disrupt the peace in the house? Does this have the potential to get us in an argument? And sometimes after you think about it, it's not even worth it.
It's not worth it.
Can you
just let it go.
Can you ask your question one more time?
I said, should your underlying issues have a curfew and how long?
No. No. Not at all. My underlying issues is something that I need to deal with on my own. It's not your responsibility, and me forcing a curfew on you because of something that's triggering me is not your problem.
Because the reason I asked that is once you blindside him with such those things, that's the relationship version of PTSD.
Correct.
So he doesn't know what's coming. He's coming home too.
Correct.
And how can he properly protect you and himself?
Correct. And again, that falls on me because it's on me to tackle and deal with what it is that's causing a trigger, and it's also on me to communicate and express to you what it is that's bothering me. That doesn't mean that I'm expressing it to you for you to fix me or to appease my trigger. That's just kind of giving you the heads up of this is what's going on in my head. This is what's going on when you do this certain thing, and it's something that I personally have to work through and push through because it's not your fault for something that took place in the past. It's mine. I won't say it's mine, but it is my responsibility, since we're using that word this week. It's my responsibility to work through that, to kind of heal from it. Otherwise, I'm not ready for you, or I'm not ready for anyone because I'm still getting triggered by something that happened in my past. And that's my thought.
Anybody else?
See, because here's the thing that we fail to remember. Men are problem solvers. Mm-hmm. So if you're transparent with the things that, cause you to
spaz out,
not trust this man and his activities, you need to be transparent and speak on it. Because he might tell you something that you need to know. And especially a man that loves you, he going to be like, check this out, baby. Mm-hmm. This is what you're going to have to do. Mm-hmm. And he might be the one that helps you get past all those things.
Yeah.
Final thoughts, starting with you, Mr. Ronald Martin.
I believe with it'd be unwise to confine your masculinity to a woman's insecurity. If he's allowed to roam free and do what he needs to do for the betterment of himself and the relationship, you could benefit greatly. You just need to put a curfew on insecurities.
Miss Adrian,
final thought.
You ain't got no final thought?
I agree. The whole curfew thing, I don't think a curfew is necessary. I just think that, I always have to go to communication. I think when I love my man, he knows me. He knows everything about me, every insecurity, every hurt, every pain, and he understands that. Should that go into play as far as how he moves in the world? It probably shouldn't. But I think with some of the baggage that you come with, because you can't leave it. I mean, you try your best to leave it all back there, but some of it is in little bitty bags, and you have them with you, and it's I'm dropping them, but it's a process. And so I think the curfew thing it's not necessary, and that's something that you as an individual, if you have some triggers, you need to really work on that.
So here's the thing that I love about you. You're not afraid to say certain things. And what you're not understanding is you're helping somebody out, else out that's in the audience. And you may give us a different perspective. And we may give you a perspective that helps in your insecurities. Because what I hear you saying is that I come home at 5 o'clock and I want my man to be there and I want to love on him. And why doesn't he want to love at me? Love on me at 6 o'clock? He doesn't want to love on me till 2 o'clock. You know, so that's normal to have those things. We are emotional, you know, but don't let that just tear up your relationship. Final thought, Nisha Williams.
I agree.
Here we go. Here we go.
No, I definitely don't think a curfew is needed. I do think communication is definitely needed in any type of relationship. I think when you're, transforming into a healthy relationship instead of just a friendship, your expectations in one another should be set. Your boundaries should be expressed before you even get to that next level, so that you know what to expect from one another. You know things are going to come up. You know that there are going to be times when you're not going to make it all the time. And to kind of expect somebody to be home at a certain time every day at this exact time, I mean, that's kind of weird to me, because what if he comes home 5 minutes later the next day? Or is that going to be a trigger? You know, what if he comes home an hour later next time? Is that going to be a trigger? What if he actually has a family emergency that he had to go through and he didn't have that time to speak to you in that moment that he usually comes home because something happens? Then what's going to happen? So I would say it's not needed. I do think that, a simple text or phone call would be cool if something comes up. I think that just be comfortable in your skin and comfortable with understanding and expecting that you two are two different people who are coming together, and you guys may look at things completely different. And if you have triggers from the past, you're going to have to do the work, and it's not easy. It's not a simple process. It's not something that you can flip on like a night switch and be like, I'm all better. But understand that you are going to have to do work to get you to a better place. Because I hate using that healing word. Sorry. I hate using that. I hate using that. No, because a lot of people that really don't know the true meaning behind healing will just throw that out there and tell somebody, you need to heal. You need to heal. And instead of going into why you're saying that when it comes to somebody. And there's a lot of people that are really walking around with a lot of trauma that they haven't really processed, and they're carrying it from relationship to relationship to relationship until they meet someone who's saying, fuck you, I'm not dealing with that. You need to go sit on somebody's couch, instead of really taking the time to, kind of work with them through that. And it's not their responsibility to do that. It's yours. So that's my final thoughts. Thanks.
Part of me loving my man is trusting my man.
Absolutely.
Part of me loving my man is allowing him, or not, I'm not going to use the word allowing, expecting him to have his own happiness outside of mine. If I have to micromanage you, if I have to think, oh hell, he normally comes home at 5 and it's 5:01. So if I have to do all of those mental gymnastics of thinking negative of my man, I don't want you as my man. Like I say, things are gonna happen that are out of my control, that may never be my fault. So no, do your thing, baby. When you come in there, just be ready to love on me. If he come home at 2 o'clock, that means I could go to bed early and be energized to tear his ass up when he come home. You know what I'm saying? So,
amen.
At the end of the day, if you have a curfew, you need to ask that man, hey, I like my man to come home at midnight. What you got? And he might say, I can't do that. And then you can make that decision. But never get into a relationship thinking that a person is going to think the same way that you do. That's my final thought.
My final thought is, fellas, if she's trying to give you a curfew, with the wrong person. because she's never going to mature past that.
Nope.
And if she does, it is not your job to wait. That's my final thoughts.
Good point.
Very good conversation. Like, share, subscribe. You know we love those comments. Leave us a comment. We have men and women speaking, communicating, getting clarity. I love this. I love that they're here. Leave us a comment. BGP, and we're out.
Bye.